What is going on, guys? So this is episode 1 of kind of my first moving series. So what it took to help me move to Florida. So obviously this page is going a lot more financial on top of the fitness and getting into real estate. But the biggest thing is getting set up to move. So you can actually apply these factors into, buying a new house, into moving to a different state, into something like that. So I'm taking this journey because the lessons I learned this from was from moving to a new state. There's a lot of things I did good as I was younger, but there's a lot of things that as of now, if you're watching this and you want to move, you don't have the time that I had when I was doing things like when I was 17 or 16, getting my first credit card, starting a Roth IRA, things like that, that look good on your credit report, that can help, get you more loans and give you more credit limit that you may need. So these things right now are kind of like the last few things. If you're planning on moving, saving up to move, if you want to buy a house, if you want to, take out that next loan for whatever it may be, these can all be applied to. But I learned this through moving states and lessons. Thinking back to when I was 17, I was like, damn, I don't want to be putting $50 away a month. That seemed like so much, but really, you don't notice it. But even $50 a month, that seems like so much, and that's paid dividends for me now. Not just on the financial aspect or what it's worth now, but I have the credit history to be able to back up, hey, I am a safe person to loan money to. You're gonna get your payments on time. You're gonna earn money off of me and the interest I'm gonna pay back to you for letting me borrow that money, and just getting approved in general. So these things is gonna be how to get a quick boost. I'm gonna apply this mostly around credit cards. If you're responsible with credit cards, if you are not responsible with credit cards and you max that shit out, turn this off now because I'm gonna give you a lot of bad tools. But if you're responsible with your credit cards, this is gonna be a great show for you guys. So I'll get right into it. This is gonna be helping you get your credit report right so you can show the banks, you can show credit card companies that you're a safe investor, because when you're moving, it's a pretty big financial commitment. When you're buying a house, it's a pretty big financial commitment. So understand that they're gonna be looking at your past history. One quick way that you can boost that up is through the use of credit cards. So apply for credit cards. One thing that you're gonna find is not all of them are gonna accept you. The ones with the best rewards are gonna be the ones that are the hardest to get and that you need a long history for. But that's fine. What I did for my very first credit card is I walked into a small bank. It was a small local bank, community bank, and started an account with them. It needed like $20, $25, and I never put anything in more than that. I just started the checking account and then got a credit card from them. It was a credit union. So I would go to your credit union. If you don't have any credit right now, you have bad credit, I would go to a credit union, throw $20, $25 into a checking account, get started with them, and then apply for that credit card. Now once you get it, it's probably gonna have a smaller credit limit on it because you had to go there first. I think mine is $500. Understand that's not your credit card to use. If you do use it, treat it as a debit card. Swipe it the moment the pending charge comes onto the account, pay it. Mobile banking. You can't be waiting a full month at a time. That is gonna affect your credit report. We'll get into bigger details later. But say you have a $500 credit limit and you pay $50 for groceries, you're already using 10% of your total credit limit, and that looks bad. I'll give you the percentages and the breakdowns later on. So get that card. Every now and then make a $20 purchase, pay it off right away. $20 purchase, pay it off right away. Download Credit Karma, put your information in there, and it's going to give you a list of credit cards that you're likely gonna get approved for. Apply for some of those, but go for ones that are gonna be rewards you're gonna use. So I use cashback cards. I have one that's 3% cashback on gas, one that's 3% cashback on groceries, 3% cashback on restaurants, things like that. Now I don't go out to eat super often, but at least I have that option to get the 3% cash back. And each card is 2% cash back on something else and then 1% cash back on everything. I just want the cash back because what I like to do is use that on vacations, save it up for a year, and then whatever the biggest vacation I go on next, that's the one I'm gonna pay off those credit cards first with. Is the rewards from that. So get your credit card. You might be able to be approved for a great one, like American Express, something like that. But understand that one's not accepted in most places, so you're still gonna need another payment method just to be on the safe side. Get a Roth IRA. Roth IRA, super nice. Definitely if you're younger, that'd be the one that I would go with. But that's just gonna be more assets that you have that you're not looking at that you can always pull back on. Yes, there are big penalties for pulling from that, and I have pulled from mine before, but understand is if the price of that has gone up. So say I put $5,000 into a Roth IRA, $1,000, it'll make, if I do any math, a little bit easier. Say I put $1,000 into a Roth IRA, and the value of those stocks and investments goes up to $1,200. There's gonna be a heavy penalty from that if I need to pull from that, if I need to pull out that $1,200. Because they're trying to make money too, so they're gonna penalize you if you do it before retirement. Also, once you're in retirement, you're not gonna get it in a big lump sum. You're gonna get it in partials at a time. But it's great for building up credit history too, and it's great for retirement if that's the route you wanna take. The Roth IRA is great. So if I have $1,200, I put $1,000 in there, it increases the value to $1,200, and I pull from that, you're taxed like 30 to 50% on the increase in what you put in there. So if I put $1,000 in the bank, a year later I might have $1,001 because interest rate is shit. So if I put $1,000 into a Roth IRA, a year later I have $1,200 in that Roth IRA, and I pull from that, I don't give a shit if you tax me at 30 to 50%. I'm still up another $100, just over $100. Yeah, thanks for the extra money. Your flip side to that is that a bank account will not go down in value on the face value of the money. But if that Roth IRA, the stock market goes through a bad year and now there's $900 in it, you're gonna get penalized and you're not gonna have as much money of what you originally put in, that original principal. So you have to play some risk there. Now in my game, Roth IRAs are pretty safe, especially with risk. I would go with it and I would do it. Now, I kind of mentioned, I was kind of hesitant on the bank account. Yes, your bank account's not gonna go negative. Put $1,000 in there, you're still gonna have $1,000 in there, but on average, inflation increases about 4% a year. So you're actually losing money by letting it sit in the bank. Have your emergency fund in the bank, absolutely. You want quick cash, easily accessible to get to, but you actually are losing money by keeping it in the bank. So don't keep money in the bank. You need to get that money working for you. Roth IRA, 401k, stock market, investment properties, things like that. So the next one is the 401k. A lot of times your companies are gonna have a company match. So give me some free damn money for working for you. You complain about your damn paycheck all the damn time. They don't pay me enough to do this, you don't pay me enough to do that, but you're not taking advantage of the 401k company plan. A lot of times you might have to be working there for 6 months to a year to start getting it, but people have been at companies for years and they're complaining about things. They don't pay me enough. If you put 6% in, a lot of companies have a 1, 2, 3, 100% match on that, depending on the size of the company, how new the program is, whatever it may be. So if I'm gonna put 1, 2%, and a lot of times it increases. So if I put 1%, they'll match 1/4%. If I put 3%, they'll match 0.5%. If I put 6%, they'll match 1.5%. It's probably increasing like that too to encourage you to put more in. So that 401k, that's gonna be another investment where you're putting up to 6%, you can put more than that, but the standard of the company match caps out at around once you're putting in 6. Anything over that, cool for you. So say I'm pumping 6% of my paycheck into that. I'm not seeing that 6%, which means I'm not spending that 6%. It's sitting there. If they're gonna give me another 3% on top of that, so they're gonna match the first 50% of it, and say I'm putting $100 into that per month at my 6%, depending on where your income level is. And then they're giving you 50% on top of that. Now you're looking at another $50 a month free money for that. Not super great, but that's another several $100s a year that you're saving up there. Remember, we're focusing on moving, we're not focusing on retiring yet. That's the topics that we're going over right now. So an extra $600, yep, sign me up. So I have my 401k started with my company before I'm moving. I leave the company, what happens to that 401k? You push that over into the Roth. So now I have, if I'm doing the 6%, I have $1,200 that I've put in, and then $600 match. That's another $1,800. Thank you. Moving expenses. That's help covered. And it's showing a good credit history because it's another account that I have. The number of accounts is one of the things that factors in to your credit report too. So moving along, make all your damn credit card payments on time. Never, ever, ever carry a balance. I was very fortunate that I never had to. I had a credit card when I was like 16. Just understand that carrying a balance isn't gonna be as good as just paying it off every single month, because you're getting charged 20% on that money if you don't get it paid off. So we need to have that paid off so you don't get charged that 20%. Treat it like a debit card. This is where I would say, if you're not good with credit cards, if you see that $500 credit limit, if you see that $5,000 credit limit, I have a credit card with $20,000 now credit limit. That's not $20,000 that is accessible to my name. They're saying, hey, we will loan you up to $20,000 with 20% interest. I don't want to be paying that. And I'll explain why I have a $20,000 credit limit on that credit card. Not the breakdown of the analytics of what they do, but why I want to have $20,000 credit limit. So treat it like a debit card, pay it off. Pay it off in mobile banking. Don't wait for the end of the month where now you have that lump sum and you're like, oh shit, I swiped that more than I thought. Get that money out of your bank account the moment that you swipe that card. Swipe. If it's a Lowe's credit card, you can pay it right there, pay it right there. If you have an app, that's gonna go pending for 2 to 3 days and then pay that shit off. You wanna get that money out of your bank account so that you don't think that you still have another X amount of dollars to spend, because you've already spent that, it's just not out of the account yet. Do not carry a balance before you move, because that's more money that you're gonna have to be spending during the time. I can tell you the most stressful thing I had when I moved was that I owed money on my student loans. So I was spending that's $408 a month for my student loans. Not super high, not super low, but that's high as shit when technically you haven't started your job yet and you're moving across the country and you know one person in the city that you're moving to. So third thing, request a higher credit limit. Now that we're starting to get months stacked up, days stacked up of showing good credit history, that we're responsible with that money that they're giving us to potentially use, then we want to ask them, hey, will you increase my credit limit from $500 to $1,000? Some of them you can just request, some of them you can request a certain amount. So request something obnoxious if they let you request a certain amount, and then they're gonna put it somewhere in the middle if they're gonna allow you to increase. The reason we want to do that is because credit limit usage is a huge factor in your credit score. If you're using 10% of your credit, you're already in the second tier. The limits are 0 to 9% is the best, 10 to 29% is the next tier, 30 to 49%, 50 to 74%, and 75% plus. Those are the tiers. The higher the tier that you go on that, the worse it's gonna affect your credit score. And remember, we want to have a great credit score just in case we need to borrow money. We want to show that we're a trusty lender. We're a trusty person to lend to, because if you need to go to Amscot, if you need to go somewhere to pay rent, that's going to be a lot higher interest rate that you're going to be paying versus going somewhere and you can say, hey, I need this loan right now. I've shown all this great payment history. I've shown that I have these accounts, 16 accounts I can manage, and paid all my payments on time. You're probably more likely to get a 2 to 3% interest rate, which is incredibly low, and that's where you want it. So if I have a $500 credit limit and I buy groceries and it's $54, I'm floating between 10 and 11%. That's already in the second thing. My credit limit's gonna take a little bit of a hit there. Sure, I get that paid off next month, my credit score is gonna bounce back up. I don't even wanna fucking worry about that. I want it to be taken care of, I want it to be done. I don't want to have to think for it. So I actually just calculated the credit limit that I have today. And I am not going to be very good at doing math off of it, and it's not to brag. For some people it's probably incredibly high, for some people it's probably, hey, why is it so low? But I have one credit card that has a $20,000 credit limit on it. Great. I can swipe, I don't even know what 10% would be, $2,000. I can charge up to $2,000 now. Imagine I have a $500 credit limit. I can only swipe $50 onto that card. For some people, that's a tank of gas. For some people, that's groceries. That's not very good. And some people, I had to start out there, and it took me a while to build up. But 10% of $20,000 on that credit card, I have now $2,000 to work with before I'm getting into that 10% range. Hell of a lot more money I can use. So if I have to live off my credit card for a little bit, and I did, I think the highest my credit usage got up to was about 12%. I had $5,500 charged to my credit cards. Yeah, I was stressing. But there's other back-end things I was able to use so I wasn't paying the 20%. And we'll get into that down the road here shortly too. But I had about 5 credit cards. I used to work at Old Navy at one point. I still had that one. It was locked in a safe. I had a Lowe's card. There were multiple cards that I had. One of them at the time had like $15,000. But either way, my total credit line of credit was about $35,000 to $40,000. So I could use a lot of money before I got to that 10%, so it wouldn't take that credit limit, that credit score hit, and bring my credit score down. So I had all that safety net, and I've recently, it was today before I recorded this video that I increased for higher limits on that. Now I'm floating around $50,000 total dollars. So I can use $5,000, almost what my total credit limit, my total money that I had on my credit cards at one time was. So I went up over that a little bit. I wasn't able to stay completely under it, but I was doing a lot better than what I could have been doing had I just had 1 or 2 credit cards. That's gonna help your credit score out, because say something happens with my car, I need to go get a new loan for a car, I need to keep that interest rate down. I'm already fucking stressed about my money. Why would I wanna have a higher interest rate on my car when I go to buy one? No. So I'm gonna take care of it on the front end. Then, now we've made it. We have a good credit score. We're rocking and rolling, made all of our payments on time. We have a good, we're getting our age of our credit score up. Our number of accounts is high. All these factors that factor into your credit score. That's why I recommend downloading Credit Karma, because you can actually look at those and see what the great, average, low, all those factors are gonna be. Now I'm gonna start looking for those cards that are gonna give me the rewards I want. Like I said, I like going for American Express. They give really, really good cashback rewards. Some people fly a lot. That's a card I've looked into too, because I'm flying home regularly. I've been down here 2.5 years in Tampa, Florida. I think I've flown home probably about 13 times. Holy shit, I thought I'd be doing it once or twice a year, but I was wrong. Too many people getting married, too many events back home that I have to go home and get back to. So that's probably something I should look into, is frequent flyer miles and things like that, a card that offers that. Unless you're die hard on one airline, I wouldn't get an airline one. You can typically get like a Discover and American Express that's universal between all airlines. But that's up to you, because some people are a little loyal to one airline. So that's where you can start to get the rewards. You can start to get the benefit out of it. I don't use my debit card for anything unless I'm withdrawing money from an ATM. I'm very good with my credit cards. I treat them like debit cards. When I swipe them, pay them off. So I'm responsible with that. So why wouldn't I swipe a card that gets 3% cash back on groceries? When I'm buying groceries, now I spent $100, I get $3 back. Now, if I'm spending $100 a week, $3 a week times 52, that's $150 at the end of the year, plus $156 at the end of the year, that I can apply towards some payment. Say I have some emergency thing come up. Maybe I transfer it to my savings account to help boost my savings that I have there. Maybe I invest in some stock. Maybe I throw that into that 401k, that Roth IRA that I started. Whatever it may be, I can do whatever I want with that money. Whereas if I used a debit card, I wouldn't have that extra $150 there. For some people, it's more than that. And also, I'm probably on average spending more than $100 a week anyway, between car insurance, between car payments, between all this other stuff that I can just link up through my credit card that I can get the cashback rewards on, I can get the frequent flyer miles on, and then throw it in there. So those are all things that you should be thinking about. Reach out to me, shoot me a DM, post in my comments, do whatever you need to do. Shoot me an email. If you guys want any one-on-one help with this, I would love to help you. It's one of the things I'm super, super passionate about, is helping people get control of their finances and saving them money. So I want to help you out. You can reach out to me at JakeBloch_fitness on Instagram. That's JakeBloch_fitness. fitness. I'm on Parler. Not posting super regularly on Parler, but I am on there. You can DM me on here, comment down below on here. Make sure to like and subscribe to this video. And if you want to send me an email, it is jakebloch94@gmail.com. So look forward to helping you guys. Hope this video was useful as I continue this series. I know it wasn't much about moving, but these are some of the setup to moving. You need to get financially prepared, be protected, and be able to take out a loan if need be.